Have you ever played a game that permanently engraved a place in your memory? One that you come back to over and over again? One that opens the floodgates to a good time, just like the first day you turn it on and press start? That game for me is Kingdom Hearts. One summer while I was in middle school, I went to my cousin's house for a sleepover. Carson and I had a close connection growing up, and video games were that mutual interest that created our bond. When I arrived at his house, he greeted me with excitement and said, "Dude, I just got a new game. You have to try it." We rushed upstairs and he fired up his PlayStation 2. As the load screen shone on the TV, he explained that the game was a mix of anime and Disney characters. Neither of us knew about the existence of Final Fantasy, so his description was fairly accurate. But the real selling point for me was the Disney aspect. Thanks to my grandmother's love for Mickey Mouse, Disney films were a huge part of my childhood. My mom followed suit with her love of Winnie the Pooh, and we owned almost every VHS and DVD that Disney had sold at that point. Having a chance to explore those worlds in a video game excited me, and I couldn't wait for the game to start. Once it did, I was surprised by the first cutscene. The quality was above anything I'd seen in a game. I had no idea that video games could have such beautiful cinematography. A few moments later, I was running around Destiny Island. I couldn't help but relate to Sora, Kairi, and Riku's longing to leave their tiny island and see what lay beyond the horizon. I grew up in a small town, and I too wanted to reach beyond what was in front of me. Surprisingly enough, the Kingdom Hearts series would follow me on that journey. The true magic of the game started when I made it to Traverse Town, and two familiar faces showed up. I met Donald Duck as a mage and Goofy as a knight. I thought their designs were clever, and their voice actors were so convincing that I actually thought that they were the same ones from the films. We played for the next couple of hours until it was dinner time, and then we played until we couldn't keep our eyes open anymore. This was just the start of my journey with the world of Kingdom Hearts. Following that sleepover, we realized that my grandmother also had a PlayStation 2 at her house. We visited her often, so Carson left his copy of the game there. This allowed us to play together on the occasion that we both visited on the same day, but it also gave me a chance to finish the game, since he already did. Once Carson got Kingdom Hearts 2, we copied this pattern. The main premise of the game and its story is the importance of friendship. Before playing the first two titles, I didn't think much about friendship. I was sheltered and didn't have the opportunity to hang out with kids outside of school, so I learned to keep myself company. I became content being alone, but after experiencing these games, I gave friendship more thought. I attempted to make more meaningful connections with people. Over the years, I learned that a small circle of friends was better because I am more concerned with the quality of my friendships and not the quantity. To have a strong bond with somebody, you need to be open and vulnerable in a mutual way. Sora's message is that you should be friends with everyone. I only partly agree. I think there are benefits to being friendly with everyone, but only those you can trust with your vulnerability should be your true friends. We shouldn't just let anybody in. In 2009, Kingdom Hearts 365 over 2 days was released for the Nintendo DS. I was ecstatic. Finally, a console that I owned was getting a Kingdom Hearts title. Due to my financial situation growing up, I could only get one new game a year. I still find it amusing that in 2009, the game I picked had the amount of days in a year as part of its title. And I did play it for the whole year, which is probably why I remember it the most out of the entire series. Much like the first two games, 365 over 2 days is about bonds and friendship. However, it's from the perspective of loneliness. The protagonist Roxas starts his journey without any friends, but slowly over time, he gains a few who change his life. Roxas is a mirror of Sora, who starts his journey with friends and is challenged when they are taken away. Sora's challenge is finding new friends to help him find his old ones, whereas Roxas has to learn what it means to have friends. In that aspect, I relate to Roxas a little bit more. This story reversal is also a play on the theme of Kingdom Hearts lore. In this world, people can have their hearts stolen and turned into shadow creatures accurately named Heartless. This event can happen to anyone, but when a strong-willed person has their heart stolen, they leave behind a shell of themselves. These shells are called nobodies. Most nobodies look like monsters, but a select few look similar to their original selves. These nobodies make up a group called Organization 13. After finding that Kairi's heart was within Sora, he sacrificed himself to save her. In doing so, Sora briefly became a Heartless, and the nobody left behind was Roxas. It makes sense that the shell of Sora would be a loner and lacked any meaningful bonds. And yes, Kingdom Hearts lore is complex and very hard to follow if you haven't played every single game. So please don't slaughter me if I get something wrong. It's been a long time since I played a lot of the games, but I have played them all. Well, except the mobile game, but I digress. Ever since the first game, Kingdom Hearts has given players plenty of choice when it comes to their gameplay style. I'm only going to reference the first game to keep my explanation simple. At the start of the game, the player is brought to an ethereal world. While in this space, the player must make choices that will impact their playthrough. This choice will give the players 3 options. Of these 3, the player must choose one to increase or focus on, then choose which one of the 3 to sacrifice. There is a sword that represents strength, a shield that represents defense, and a staff representing magic. Based on the player's focus and sacrifice of these weapons, the choice will determine your playstyle. This will also impact how players decide to build their party throughout the game. After meeting Donald and Goofy, Sora will always have 2 companions. When the player enters a new world, the team will be met by the main character of that world, like Jack Skellington from Halloween Town. When the main adventure of that world starts, the player must choose who to have in their party. If the player chose to focus on strength and sacrifice to magic, like I did, they might want to keep Donald on the team and switch Goofy out for Jack. He has high defense and HP stats, and he uses spells. So Jack and Donald together will make up for Sora's lack of magical power. Players can also choose which weapons, abilities, and items each character in the party will have and use. This makes for a fun way to build your playstyle, although I know my young self just wanted the highest damage output for Sora and nothing else. Upon replaying the game, I tried to optimize everyone on my team to give me the highest rate of success in fights. Kingdom Hearts series, and Final Fantasy for that matter, since they are basically connected, paved the way for the RPGs that we have today. When I started my replay of Kingdom Hearts to record footage, I worried that my nostalgia would be broken. I feared that the game would no longer be as fun as I remembered. I'm happy to say that that wasn't the case. In fact, I still enjoyed my playthrough just as much as my first one. Just to preface, I played Kingdom Hearts Final Remix, which enhanced several features of the game. I don't have a PlayStation 2 or a vanilla copy of the game, but I think that was for the best. Final Remix allowed the game to hold up after all these years. The enhanced graphics and combat flow aided in my enjoyment of the game. Now that I'm an adult, I found some of the dialogue to be a little cringe at times, but I think that speaks more to who I am now and not necessarily the game's message. After all, when I was a kid, I thought Sora was a straight up philosopher. Despite how I feel about his monologues now, I think they played a part in forming my current interest in philosophy and understanding what it means to be human. When I was young, my life was filled with negatives, but games like Kingdom Hearts provided a thread of positivity that I desperately clung to. If this game taught me anything, it's that if you stay true to yourself, you can always fight off the darkness of negativity. And if you know where to look, you can find people just like you that will help you in the hardest of times. Whatever you do, don't ever let the darkness consume you. Keep fighting. There will always be a way back to the light.
You're wrong. I know now, without a doubt. Kingdom Hearts is light.
Light. But why?
Thank you so much for watching. I had a lot of fun revisiting one of my all-time favorite games and putting this video together. With Kingdom Hearts 4 somewhere on the horizon, I can't wait for our next adventure with Sora. Well, until next time, I hope you have a great one.